Dear President Trump, before I begin, I want you to know that I write this respectfully, both to yourself as a person and to the office. So whatever I say here, please just keep that in mind. Some will say it's naive to think that this message will reach you, and they're probably right, but I've at least got to try. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I was happy to vote for you in 2016. I grew up on you, in movies, on TV. I don't know, I trusted you. But more importantly, I liked you. I liked that you were a real New Yorker, rough around the edges and unafraid, that you spoke plainly and called out the BS, and whoever didn't like it could just go fly a kite. And yeah, in 2016, that's exactly what we needed. Obama was elegant and smooth, but let's be real, that guy had no backbone. We needed strong leadership, not a soy boy in the US. And I thought that that man was you. Critics warned us about your past, but who doesn't have a past? You were older now, wiser, more experienced. And I thought you were stepping up to leave a legacy that would make us all proud. And I'm not the only American who thought this. Millions of us showed up to vote for you for exactly the same reasons. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, young, old, straight, gay, whether we lived on a mountaintop, in a swamp, or in a high-rise. No matter our differences, you were the one thing that united us all. And in my opinion, you did a great job your first 3 years. You made us proud to be Americans, and you got things done. But then 2020 came around, and the mask started to slip. Antifa and BLM ran rampant, and there were violent riots everywhere. Many blamed George Soros for funding them, and yeah, maybe they're right, but that's not the point. George Soros didn't owe us anything. You did. You could have invoked the Insurrection Act and brought order back to our cities, but instead you did nothing. You just watched them burn. That was red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 was the vaccine. As a New Yorker, you already knew that Fauci was a fraud. You had lived through what he did during the AIDS pandemic. How many people died because he wouldn't approve life-saving medications, because he's a small man on a power trip, and he wanted to be the savior who created a vaccine. You knew he was a problem, and you should have removed him from his post on day 1. But instead, you helped him fast-track a vaccine that was neither tested nor safe. And on top of that, you let Moderna and Pfizer make billions while remaining exempt from any responsibility for the damage it caused. I knew right then that the show was over, because when shit really hit the fan, you folded. A lot of Americans made excuses for you, not because they were stupid, but because you had inspired them with patriotism and hope, and they weren't ready to let that go. But like I said, I'm nonpartisan. I call them like I see them. That's just the Cuban in me. But then we had 4 years of Biden, which crippled our country. And once again, I helped vote you in because the nation was coming apart and there was no way that I could vote for Harris. And again, I hope that time had taught you valuable lessons and that you would, this time, step up. Your slogan was America First. And I thought, yes, finally we'll get out from under the influence of foreign nations. We'll stop siphoning our money abroad and use our wealth to help Americans and fix our own country. God knows we need to. No more sending our troops to die on foreign lands for foreign interests, I thought. No more creating enemies because of ancient conflicts thousands of miles away that have nothing to do with us. As a veteran, this matters greatly to me. But you've abandoned that promise. Instead of draining the swamp, you've given them positions in your cabinet. There are so many Zionists in office right now that I've lost count. And the way that you handled the Epstein list is both chilling and telling. Israel has you by the muzzle, and we can all see it. It's not just embarrassing and demoralizing to see you kowtow to Netanyahu, to see another man push you around. It's dangerous. You've left us to fend for ourselves while Israel infiltrates every aspect of power in the US, from social media and the economy to policy. And you've made us a laughingstock on the world stage. You're a father, and like every parent, your children are your weak links. I imagine this has a lot to do with your daughter, Ivanka. She married into the Kushner mob, and I guess it's her interests that you're trying to protect. And I get that. But Ivanka is an adult. She made her bed. She can lie in it. She knew what she was getting into and made that choice. But the millions of Americans under your protection did not. And we have children too. Consider that your grandchildren carry your name, and if you continue down this path of destruction, they'll be hated for it through no fault of their own. If you don't care about us, at least think about them. Is that really the legacy that you want to leave? We don't want Israel censoring our constitutional right to free speech on TikTok, X, or Google. Yeah, we know about Nimbus, Israel's plan to control and censor what we Americans can see and say on our own land. We don't want our rights violated in any way, shape, or form for any reason, least of all for a foreign interest. We don't want our money sent abroad or our military involved in Israel's never-ending problems. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for American military strength and might. I'm all for returning our country to values, morals, and sanity, but by us and for us, not as a pawn in another man's game. And now you're making plans to take out Maduro in Venezuela, the narrative being that it's because of narco trafficking? Come on, sir. Nobody believes that. Maduro's a cancer. No one's debating it. But if narco trafficking was the problem, then why not go after Mexico? They're a lot closer and a much bigger problem. We're not as stupid as you think. We know it's about the oil. In 2023, Iran called Muslim countries to impose an oil embargo on Israel. Israel gets 60% of its crude from Muslim territories. That was a scare. So let me guess. You secure Venezuelan oil for Israel and wean it off Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan. And in return, Israel continues its genocide and eventually hands Gaza over to the US so that you can do what? Let Ellison and Kushner build luxury casinos on it? Did I miss anything, or is that basically it? Because it feels like it is. See, the thing is that Americans don't want casinos in Gaza. Gaza isn't ours to claim, and we the people wouldn't benefit from casinos there in the least. We don't want this spiral of endless war to continue to sow seeds of revenge on foreign soil for our children and grandchildren to reap. Do you remember when you said,
most people understand that in order to make progress, you have to do things which aren't necessarily going to make you the most popular boy on the block. I just don't feel the country is going forward in the proper direction. We could have made quick decisions, and we would have been a lot better off than the way we've been sitting around over the last couple of years and just watching everybody else do everything, and we just sit back and take everybody's abuse. It's a very sad situation that somebody isn't there making the decisions and pushing the right and proper, I don't want to use the word buttons, frankly, but pushing the right levers so that we can go out and do things as we're supposed to be doing them.
You are a mover, you are a doer. If you could make America perfect, how would you do it?
Well, I think that America is a country that has tremendous, tremendous potential. I think that much like the mind, I think that America is using very, very little of its potential. I feel that this country with the proper leadership can go on to become what it once was. And I hope, and certainly hope, that it does go on to be what it should be.
What should it be?
Well, it should really be a country that gets the respect of other countries.
Is respect the most important thing in your opinion?
Well, respect can lead to other things. When you get the respect of the other countries, then the other countries tend to do a little bit as you do, and you can create the right attitudes. If we had the one man, and it's really not that big a situation. You know, people say, well, what could anybody do as president? The one man could turn this country around. The one proper president could turn this country around. I firmly believe that.
where did that man go? Not to hit a nerve, sir, but Jesus, what would Roy Khan think? I know it's fashionable to criticize him for his shortcomings, but he was your loyal mentor and your true advocate. And for all his flaws, his patriotism was above reproach, and no one can deny it. My family immigrated here legally from Cuba decades ago, fleeing a regime that stripped them of their freedoms and their rights. No, they're not millionaire Zionist donors, but they believed in you. And I promise you, you've never had a greater supporter than my Uncle Manolo. I'm just glad he's not alive to see his hero fall. I am begging you, truly from the bottom of my heart, uphold your oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The choices you're making now have long-lasting and destructive consequences, not only for us today, but for the future of America. Please, stop this madness. I'm sure it'll come at a high price, but you can do it, sir, and we need you to. I hope this message reaches you. I really do, because I speak for millions. Thank you for your time. I look forward to your response. Respectfully, this American Patriot.